Bring into purpose our empowerment week. We are so excited today to have the one and only Twyla Grider. Twyla, how are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being a part of this empowerment week. A quick note for those who may not know who Twyla is. Twyla Grider is a contemporary fashion designer and creative coach, designing sportswear collections for over 8 years. Her resume includes brands such as Robert Rodriguez, Jessica Simpson, Tommy Hilfiger, and many more. Her experience spans several categories, making her an expert merchandiser, building collections brick by brick. So she spent the last 9 years in apparel marketing, merchandising, styling, and image consulting. By the way, I need a makeover for my closet. So I'm going to holler at you. Yeah, I'm going to holler at you. But she's been featured in WWD and O Magazine, among other fashion publications. So if you don't know about her, you need to Google her right now. She's about to take the market by storm. But thank you so much, Twyla, for being a part of this. And we're just going to dive right in. So our topic today is designing your destiny. And so we want to hear your story. How did you get to where you are now? Like, where are you from? Who you be? Like, let us know.
My story is bananas, actually. I'm a country girl from Alabama, born and raised in the South. And I grew up with a mother who was quite fashionable herself. And I never knew this until I became a fashion designer, but my mother had always dreamed about being a fashion designer. Wow. And so she birthed this child with all of these crazy ideas of, I want that dress, but I want it in this color, but I want it in that fabric. And so from an early age, I designed clothes for whatever event that was happening. And my dad's a minister, so there were always good events to be dressed to impress. Yeah. So she was fortunate enough, I was fortunate enough that she would oblige me. And we'd go to the fabric store and I'd pull something out of Teen Vogue and she'd take patterns and cut them up and redo them. And that was my outfit for whatever occasion. Wow. And the older I got, the more I realized it wasn't just something that I loved, but it was my purpose to do. My grandmother was a seamstress, and my mother was a wonderful seamstress / creative. Her brain is brilliant. She would do interiors, just anything creative my mother would do as a hobby. And so I think it was in my blood. And I went to Oakwood for a year, and they didn't have my major. And I left to go to Auburn, where I studied merchandising. And when I got out, I worked for a Black-owned company called Everett Hall in D.C., and he designed suits for all the basketball players. Nice. So I got to meet Charles Barkley, and I got to meet Dikembe Mutombo, who is like the best person I've ever met in my life. No. Yeah, but he's so nice. Oh my goodness. He's like the nicest man I've ever met. And so I got to kind of watch how he worked with his people, Steve Harvey, and got to see how he built his business and kind of learned a little bit of the do's and don'ts. And in the process, learned some life and had to leave. And got kind of knocked down, and everyone was like, well, you got to get a real job. So I went, and I was like, I don't know. I did merchandising at the Gap, and I was like, well, this ain't no money. And y'all, is this what y'all want me to do? And so I said, well, I think I'm going to go to California and figure it out. And I went to Loma Linda and got my MBA. Didn't know what the purpose was for it. But I was led to go out there, and I did that and came back to DC and was selling insurance.
Wow.
I know. Because I had to get a real job, apparently, right? I had to be an adult and take care of myself. And while I was there, I met a wonderful young lady named Lily, who was like, you dress so cute. Can you dress me? And that's how I became a stylist. Wow. Dressing her. And I started dressing a few of her friends. Then I met some other people. And I was like, Dad, I can't sell insurance. This is miserable. And he was like, okay, well, save your bonus check, pay off your car, and come home and let's figure it out. And my dad was in Houston at the time, and I did what he said. And God is so good. He leads you to these different people. So then I'm in Houston, like a manager at Kenneth Cole, randomly see a friend that I went to school with. He's like, hey, another one of our friends is going to be in town. I see her, and she's at Drexel in a master's program for fashion design. This is literally, and I'm not playing, it's literally happened this crazy. I meet her. She's like, you should apply. I apply. They're like, oh, there are no more spots. I pray about it. A spot miraculously opens. And I'm in.
Wow.
And that's kind of how I started designing. I got introduced to Tracy Reese. I interned with her. And there we go.
Wow.
It was literally a prayerful situation where God just, I guess he couldn't give it to me all at the same time. Maybe I couldn't handle it. I don't know. But I'm using all of those things that I learned prior to becoming a designer now. I'm finally seeing it. So that's how I got into the world of fashion.
Wow. So let's unpack this. So you have a master's in business administration
and a fine arts. And
you got a master's in fine arts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm highly educated.
Oh yes, that's amazing.
Not on purpose.
Yeah, you were on this journey trying to find that purpose.
Yeah.
But you mentioned earlier that you felt that desire since you were young.
Absolutely.
So my question is for those who are listening. What advice would you give to people who feel drawn or like you're called to do something, but you're scared to do it, maybe because of your family, or you're scared of what people might think about what you feel called to do?
I say prayerfully take the leap. I feel like I spent a whole 8 years doing what other people wanted me to do because that was the smart thing to do. That was the safe thing to do. And had I just gone for it from the jump, I initially, when I went to Oakwood, I initially wanted to go to FITM in California. And my dad was like, LA, you? Nah. I'm keeping my baby girl this way. And I didn't understand student loans, and I didn't understand that I could have gone anyway. And I think I say God puts a purpose in everyone, and sometimes people get it early and sometimes people get it late. I think I was born to do what I'm doing. And I say to everyone, don't wait. Take the leap.
Take the leap. Go for it.
Go for it. You'll save yourself a lot of time.
So you were adulting, you were working, selling insurance, I'm sure you probably had benefits. Like you could have stayed in that comfortable position.
Stacking dough at that.
Yeah. How is it possible to have a good job, making good money? Like you can really be unfulfilled and be unhappy, even though you can be successful on paper.
Yeah. I was sitting with a financial advisor about to buy a home. I'm like planning financially to like be a full grown adult. And I was miserable because when you're not living in your purpose, you can have all this money in the world, but you still have this hole this thing you're trying to fill, and you start really filling it with other things. Like I was traveling, I was partying, I was living it up. But at the end of the day, I was like, this ain't it. And so I had really gotten to the point where I had traveled a lot. I had partied a lot. I had done a lot of things. And I felt very empty still.
Wow.
And so then I started trying to fill that void. that's a bad idea. And so I just kind of hit a point where I was like, nah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So when you know what you want to do, like how do you get the supportive crew around you? Like you had so much support. Like you were so blessed to have family who encouraged you on that journey. Like, what if I don't have a crew around me to encourage me? Like, what am I supposed to do?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I love my family, but my family were encouraging me they were encouraging me to have a job and keep a job. And I don't think it was until they saw just how miserable I was that they were like, okay, if we don't get behind her, this is going to go bad quick. I say for people that don't have the support, build the support. Find somebody, a mentor that's doing what you want to do. And if you have to, stop that person until they find, until you find a person that's doing what you want to do. Coaching, there's so many people that are coaches now. Find a good coach if you can, if you have the resources to do that. I mentor people pro bono as a part of my tithing, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, you give back.
Yeah, I give back. I think that that's the only way you can grow is if you give. I ascribe to giving first.
Yeah.
So find people that are willing to help you grow, and then build your dream team. I say surround yourself with like-minded people. I think it's really important if you're creative to find other creatives that get it.
Yeah.
And I think you have to find friends at every level. So you find friends that are also going through the same struggle so that you can kind of exchange war stories in a way and find that group of people that are just as driven as you are. I think I found that when I went to Drexel for my master's, I had this group of people because we were all doing the same thing that pushed me. And so we would push each other. I have a really good girlfriend in Miami, Priska. She has her online, and we would just go back and forth. And she's a professor in Miami. And so she teaches design. And we would just push each other, and I still keep in contact with these people at every level. We push, what are you doing, girl? You could do it. You could make it.
Right.
What are you doing, guy? You could do it. You could make it. So I feel like you find your tribe, and your tribe needs to be people that get it. It can't just be people you enjoy hanging out with. It has to be people that get it. And that way, when you're a little bit down or a little bit discouraged, you have a resource that you could tap into to push you.
Yeah, that's really good. So, question. So, what if someone listening this afternoon or evening or whatever time zone they're in when they see this, they're in an area of their life that is terrible. Maybe they hit rock bottom. Maybe they're living somewhere that doesn't inspire them. Like they're not in LA. They're not in Miami. Like where they live sucks and their situation sucks. Like how do they maintain their creativity, amidst those circumstances?
I say that there's creativity all around you, and your environment cannot be your only inspiration. Some of the most creative people were in some very destitute places, and out of that became masterpieces because they weren't influenced by other artists and what they were doing. So I say creativity is all around you. And I feel as though there's so many resources to be inspired. We have the internet. There's no excuse. There are people at times, they didn't have half of what we have.
Yeah.
So I say, read and listen and explore. And if you can't move somewhere, travel. Out of travel, I've been so inspired by whole collections just out of traveling.
Wow.
So travel, and then reach out to people that do live in these places and again, start to build a network. The wonderful thing about social media is you're just a scroll away from, tapping into a new resource.
Yep.
So I say use all of those tools that you have. I mean, honestly, it wasn't half of this when I first started designing.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's like, geez, you have so much. I didn't have any of this. So build your community, and then travel, and explore yourself. You'd be surprised, just by exploring who you are, and talking to older people, how inspired you can be. There's a lady in Birmingham, Alabama. She designed in the 1940s and 50s and 60s. And in her heyday, she was one of the best seamstresses there. I've tried over the years my best to keep in touch with her. She's so inspiring. Just sitting down listening to stories about who she made dresses for, the elite of Birmingham she made dresses for, and what she did, and all the cotillions and all kinds of stuff that all of the work that she did. So I say use what you have. You'd be surprised, because if you could use what you have, then you can expand that into your own niche. If you're here in New York, there's millions of design people that come to New York that want to be a designer.
Yeah.
I mean, your competition is like so stiff. Everybody can't be the next Marc Jacobs, but what you can do is, where you are, use your resources and your talents, and pretty soon you'll look up one day and you never know. You may be in New York, and you may be in LA, you may be in Paris. But if you don't use what you have around you right now, if your whole goal is just getting to New York, it's going to be a little harder than just being the great person that designs everybody's wedding dress right there in Huntsville, Alabama. Or, you know what I mean? Be that person. Yeah. Because that person then becomes the person that designs everybody's wedding dress in all of Alabama. Then Atlanta. Then
all the South.
Yeah, then LA. Then, you know what I mean? So do it right where you are. Yeah. Everybody doesn't have to take necessarily the journey that I took. Everybody's journey is unique and different, and use the resources that you have. If you're young enough, sure, go to FIT or Parsons or Drexel. You know, that's a great start. But just because you go there doesn't mean you're going to make it. I've known a lot of people that have gone and then they go right back home.
That's wonderful advice. Grow wherever you are. Work with whatever you are. Yeah. So one more question I have for you about your journey. What is one thing that you wish you would have known when you started on this journey? If you could go back and tell yourself something, what would you tell yourself?
Believe in it. When no one else believes it, believe in it, and be convicted and be rooted and grounded in it. Like, I feel like I always had a pull for creative. I always drew. I always, like, I was designing Barbie clothes at the age of 5 when my mother was sewing my dad's suits. You know what I mean? Because we were poor and my dad couldn't afford suits. So my mother, when they were at Oakwood, my mother made his suits.
Wow.
And made my dresses and made her dresses and made my brother's clothes. And, you know, and as early as I can remember, I'd be next to her at the sewing machine, you know? So I knew that this is what I was supposed to do, but I don't think I fully believed it because it just didn't seem touchable. It didn't seem tangible. And I didn't know anybody that was doing what I did that looked like me.
Well,
that was even in my circle. I was kind of sheltered in that because we were taught to be a doctor and be a lawyer and be a
nurse
and a nurse. Middle class Black America, don't be an artist because you got to have something to fall back on.
Yeah.
And so because we were inundated with that message, middle class Black America, creators were afraid to explore themselves and their passions and go after it. So I would tell little Twyla to believe it and go do it. Just do it. Head first. Crack your head. It's okay. Dust it off. Keep pushing. That's what I would say to my younger self.
That's awesome advice. Thank you so much. So we're going to end off this session with some bonus rapid fire questions.
Oh, I love that.
So
okay.
I got one question for you, Twyla. If you could wear any color every single day for the rest of your life, what color would that be?
Green.
Why green?
Growth. It's my favorite color.
That's good. I thought you were about to say money, but it's all good.
Well, you know, green is for the money and gold is for the honey.
All right, next question. What would you like to accomplish in the next 5 to 10 years?
Have my factory up and going.
Pause. You said factory.
Yeah. The only way we as people of color can not only just be trendsetters that everyone takes and makes money off of, but that we can own it and make money ourselves is if we own the production line.
Right. That's big. All right. Last question. Yeah. How can we keep in touch with you and stay connected online? Like, are you on MySpace or High Five? Like, where can we
not find MySpace and High Five. At one point in time, I haven't heard of High Five in so long. No, I'm
Black
on
Planet?
Instagram. Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Stellar Creative Collective, and I am on Facebook, Stellar Creative Collective, and also I have my website, stellarcreativecollective.com, and I can be reached at all three of those places. And literally, I answer every email, every DM, everything. I'm super attainable. So anybody can reach me there and I will get back like within 24 to 48 hours. So
awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. Everyone, check out Twyla Grider. Hit her up on social media or her website. She is available and at your service.
I am.
So thank you so much, Twyla, for being a part of this empowerment series. Thank you for reminding us about our purpose and to pursue it boldly.
Yes.
With confidence and to appreciate the journey to grow where we are. So thank you so much. And everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you were empowered by this content. And if you can just like and share it with somebody else, be generous. Don't be stingy, y'all. Go ahead and pursue your purpose.